Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. I decided to come to you from my morning jaunt. I thought I would wait until the sun was coming up. Check it out. Incredibly pretty morning, a little brisk if you're heading out. So, we're going to finish up the triad. What is it that makes and decides how you feel about anything that's going on at any moment in time? This is always the case. There's three things that decide how you feel. The base of the triad is physiology, your physical body. And nothing impacts how you feel more or quicker than your physical body. That's what does it immediately. That immediately decides how you feel about any particular situation. If you're in a great physiology, you're going to feel better about it. If you're not in a great physiology, then you're not going to feel as good about it. The other leg or the other angle of the triangle that we talked about was language. How do you define the particular event? Is something catastrophic or is it suboptimal? Those things feel completely differently. Was this something that peeved you, or was it something that pissed you off? Those two phrases mean something completely different to most people, and they're gonna trigger your physiology. That's the change in the feeling. Is it's going to trigger some sort of response. And if you watch, this is what media does. I mean, this is how they get your attention. I mean, watch the Weather Channel, right? The most boring thing that there is the weather. And so, what do? In order to get your attention, they got to make it something very impactful. So, they talk about terrifying and catastrophic and blah, 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 blah. They use language that grabs you. And the thing is now there's more and more and more of that. And so, in order to grab our attention, the language has to get more severe. So the last piece of that triad, the last piece of that triangle is focus slash belief. Remember the phrase, where focus goes, energy flows. Whatever you focus on is what you're going to get. And then belief is your belief about what it is that you're focusing on. What does it mean to you? Can two people have the exact same experiences and have two completely different beliefs about what it means? 100%. We talked about the difference between the boss wanting to get on the stage and Carly Simon wanting to get on the stage. They had the exact same physical response, but to one of them, it was a positive response, and to the other one, it was a negative response. So their belief about that event decided how they felt about that event. And what they focused on decided. So imagine three people go to a party, same party. One person focuses on two people who are in an argument at the party. You ask that person about how was the party? They might say, well, it really wasn't very fun. It was very intense. Everybody was fighting. Now, was everybody fighting? No, that one couple was fighting. Let's turn it around. But because that's what they were focused on, that's what they saw. Another person goes there and they focus on two people who, are a new couple and they were really into each other. Get a room kind of thing. So now what does that person say? That person says, wow, everybody at that party was like really, really into things. It was like a wild party. Okay, well, same party, but a completely different experience. And the third person focuses on a couple of people that are bored with the party. And so when you ask that person, how was the party? They might say, well, the party was boring. Where focus goes, energy flows, and whatever you focus on is what you get. But then it's also your definition of that. So like Dahmer right now is big on Netflix, and there's a lot of controversy because obviously the story of Jeffrey Dahmer is, horrifying. And so some people focus on that and say, and their response to it, their belief about it is, if you watch this show, you're letting the devil into your life, and it's terrible for you. Some people look at it and say, everybody should watch this show because it shows you how the police do not respond to minorities properly or don't respond to the gay community properly. And that's what they focus on, and that's their belief about it. So everybody should watch this show because it shows you what we need to change. Another person might watch that show and focus on, how does somebody become like this? How does somebody end up, because a lot of people come from divorced homes. A lot of people have a parent that's a little off their rocker. And here I am changing my camera again. How do they end up in a situation where they're killing people and eating them? How does that happen? And they focus on the psychology of the whole thing. So those three people have three completely different experiences of the same thing based upon what they focus on and what they believe about what they focus on. So every day we're using that triad to decide how we respond to a particular event and how we feel to that event. And the more that we can intentionally manipulate that triad, the more we're going to have a better quality of life, because you choose how you feel about any event. Let me say that again. You choose how you feel about any event, and you do it using that triad. So the more you intentionally do that, the more you decide how you feel, the more you direct your mind, the more you direct your body, the more you direct your outcome in your life and the quality of your life. How we feel about any given thing is really the quality of our life. What we really want at the end of the day are feelings. We say we want money or we want success or we want all these things, but what we really want is we want the feelings that those things are going to give us. Well, what we can do with this triad is have those feelings at any time. So you can happily achieve instead of achieve to be happy. That's a lot in one day, but hope you have a great Friday. Thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you everybody that's watching me live this morning as I'm out here in the beautiful northern Midwest. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.